Welcome to the deep dive. We've had some really interesting material shared with us lately, all sort of circling around that big challenge, trying to find work-life balance.
It's a huge one, isn't it? And I think it really strikes a chord, especially now. That Observer Point article, Achieving Harmony, it really gets to the heart of the matter.
Yeah, it does. The way work pressures can just, well, bleed into everything else.
Exactly. And the article points out the real risk to our well-being, potential burnout. It's serious stuff.
Right. It's not just about feeling tired, is it? The article makes a really strong argument that finding this balance is, well, fundamental for long-term happiness and even productivity, which, yeah, that makes sense.
Totally.
So the mission for this deep dive, really, is to pull out the practical stuff from this Achieving Harmony piece. Actionable strategies listeners can use to, navigate these demands and build a more balanced life.
Yeah, moving beyond just talking about the problem.
Exactly. We want concrete ideas.
And the article gives us a great roadmap, doesn't it? It starts with something foundational: boundaries. Setting clear boundaries.
Okay, boundaries. Let's get into that. The article really hammers home how vital it is to have that separation, professional and personal. But, like the article says, in this digital age, wow, that line gets blurry, doesn't it? Emails, notifications, they're just always there.
It's true. Technology, it gives us so much flexibility, which is great, but it can also be the main reason things feel out of balance if we're not, well, careful.
So what does the article suggest?
Well, a really practical thing is setting specific office hours and actually sticking to them. Sounds simple, I know.
But it's hard in practice.
It really can be. I remember a colleague tried this, felt weird at first, almost like they were missing out on something important.
Yeah.
But give it time, and it created this sort of protected personal space. And interestingly, it made them more focused during work time, less stressed overall. Creating that separation, mentally and physically. Exactly. And the article takes it a step further. It stresses actually communicating these boundaries.
Yeah. Right, like using an out-of-office message.
Yeah.
Or just deciding, nope, not checking work email now.
Precisely. It's like giving yourself permission to switch off.
And that has a knock-on effect, maybe.
I think so. The article touches on this. It fosters a culture of respect. Respect for your own time, but also it signals to others, colleagues, clients, that boundaries are important.
Yeah, if you respect your own time, others are more likely to as well. Makes sense.
It encourages others to do the same, as the article notes.
Okay, good stuff on boundaries. So next up in the article, it talks about prioritizing and managing time effectively.
Yes, which is, let's face it, crucial. Trying to juggle everything feels like a constant battle against the clock sometimes.
Tell me about it, that never-ending to-do list.
It can feel overwhelming, and effective time management, like the article lays out, is absolutely key to keeping everything sort of manageable. Work, personal life, all of it.
So what are the specific strategies mentioned?
Well, the basics, but they work. Prioritizing tasks, what's important versus what's just urgent. And using tools lists, calendars.
Standard stuff, but powerful.
Incredibly powerful for cutting down that feeling of being overwhelmed. When you feel more in control of your schedule, it just naturally creates more space for personal things, right? The things that usually get squeezed out.
Definitely. Oh, and I like that it brought up delegation, too.
Yes, that's a big one.
It's not just managing your hours, but also maybe offloading some things at work, maybe even at home.
That raises a really interesting point, doesn't it? How comfortable are we actually letting go, trusting others?
Yeah, that can be a hurdle.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it's such a vital skill if you want to avoid burnout and, find that better integration. And of course, there's the other side of managing commitments.
Let me guess. Saying no.
You got it. Learning to say no, which sounds easy, but...
It's really not sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when you want to be helpful or involved.
Right. But declining those extra things that just throw your balance off, the article frames it really well. It's about protecting your time, your energy, for what actually matters to you.
It's not selfish, it's strategic. That's a good way to put it.
Exactly. Being intentional with your time and energy. Okay, so then the article shifts gears a bit, moving into something equally crucial: mindfulness and presence.
Yes. This really resonated with me. The idea of being fully there in whatever you're doing, whether it's work or time with family. The article talks about the problems with multitasking, how it kind of dilutes everything.
Yeah, less focus, less enjoyment, really. And the core idea of mindfulness itself, the article describes it as a way to appreciate experiences more fully.
Like actually tasting your coffee. You mentioned that earlier.
Exactly. Anchoring yourself in this moment. Instead of letting your mind race ahead or dwell on the past, it's about being present.
And it mentioned some simple techniques, didn't it? Like focusing on your breath
Hmm.
or just noticing things around you using your senses.
Yeah, really accessible stuff. And the piece suggests that even just brief moments of doing that throughout the day can make a big difference. Lower stress, make it easier to switch between roles.
That ability to switch gears smoothly.
Yeah,
Yeah, that feels key to feeling balanced overall.
definitely. Which leads nicely into the next major point, actively nurturing your personal life and well-being.
Right. It's not just about managing work, is it? It's about making space for the other stuff.
The stuff that brings joy, fulfillment. The article gives examples like hobbies, friends, family, exercise, creative outlets.
All the things that tend to get pushed to the bottom of the list when we're busy.
And it warns about the consequences if we consistently neglect those needs. Burnout, again.
So prioritizing self-care, the article says it's not selfish.
Absolutely not. It stresses that it's essential. Essential for your physical health, your mental health, and guess what? That feeds back positively into everything else, including work.
You can't pour from an empty cup, right?
That's the perfect analogy. You just can't sustain it. And linked to that is the importance of proper breaks, like actual vacations.
Yes, scheduling time to properly disconnect and recharge.
Those periods away are vital. Absolutely vital for the long haul, preventing that constant sense of being swamped. Okay, so then the article brings in a really important concept. Balance isn't static, it's dynamic.
Meaning it changes?
Exactly. It requires flexibility, adaptability.
That makes so much sense. What works for me now might not be right next year or even next month. Life changes. Careers change.
Precisely. Our strategies need to evolve, too. We need to be willing to adjust.
So being adaptable.
And the article also brings up talking to employers about flexibility.
Oh, that's interesting. Open communication.
Yeah. And it notes that, thankfully, more companies are starting to get it. They see the benefit of supporting employee balance.
So things like flexible hours or remote work, maybe.
Those kinds of options might be on the table. The article kind of empowers the listener. Advocate for your needs. Look for solutions that work for your life integration.
Good point. Actively seeking it out.
Definitely. And then finally, the article really brings it back to the individual, finding the right balance. It's deeply personal.
Yeah, no magic formula, no one size fits all.
Exactly. It says there isn't one solution for everyone.
So it really comes down to knowing yourself, your
Yeah.
priorities, your values.
Pretty much. Identifying what really matters to you and then making choices that align with that. And the article suggests sort of checking in with yourself regularly.
Like a self-assessment. How am I doing with balance right now?
Kind of, yeah. Evaluating it and being ready to tweak things. It's an ongoing process.
Okay.
And it offers a really useful perspective, I think, on not chasing some mythical perfect balance all the time.
Yeah. The pressure to get it exactly right every day.
Right. The article suggests maybe a more realistic goal is finding a sustainable rhythm where both work and personal life can thrive over the long term, recognizing that sometimes one area will need more focus than the other.
That feels healthier, less pressure. Finding a flow rather than a fixed point.
Nicely put, a sustainable flow. So if we recap the core message from digging into this achieving harmony piece, work-life balance isn't something you just achieve and tick off a list.
Right, it's an ongoing thing. Needs conscious effort, self-awareness, adapting.
Exactly. And those key strategies we talked through, all from the article. Clear boundaries.
Effective time management.
Cultivating mindfulness, being present.
Actively nurturing your personal life and well-being.
And embracing that flexibility as things change.
Yeah.
And the bottom line, as the article concludes, is that prioritizing this balance, it's a genuine investment in your well-being, your productivity, and ultimately, your happiness.
It really is. So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Think about the different maybe seasons of your own life and career. How might that ideal balance look different in those different seasons? And perhaps, what's one small adjustment, maybe even just an experiment, you could try this week to align things a bit better with where you are right now? Something to consider. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.